Have you ever woken up feeling like the world has turned gray, as if all the color, joy, and energy have been sucked out of life? Where even the simplest tasks feel like monumental challenges, and every thought seems to whisper, "You're not enough, and nothing will ever get better"? If you felt that, you're not alone. And today, I want to share with you a story that might change the way you see recovery. This is not just a story, it's a blueprint, a roadmap that takes you from despair to hope, from feeling trapped in darkness to finding your way back to life. It's a real-life journey of a client of Dr. Nazareth Castellanos, a Spanish psychiatrist who has spent years helping people reclaim their lives from depression. Let me tell you about Ana. Ana came to Dr. Castellanos after years of struggling silently. On the outside, she seemed fine. She smiled, she kept up appearances, she went to work, and she even engaged socially. But inside, it was a storm. Imagine walking through life feeling underwater. Each step requires enormous effort. Each conversation is a drain. Each morning you wake up, you feel like the day has already beaten you before it even begins. That's where Ana was, and if you're watching this, perhaps you've been there too. The first step in Ana's recovery wasn't glamorous or dramatic. It wasn't some sudden epiphany or a magical cure. It started with acknowledging the truth. With depression, denial often becomes a shield. We tell ourselves we're just tired or just stressed, hoping that ignoring it will make it go away. But Ana decided to stop pretending. She chose to face her feelings honestly, and that choice, as small as it seemed at the time, was revolutionary. When Ana began working with Dr. Castellanos, the focus was on understanding rather than fixing. So many people think of recovery as a straight path, a checklist of things to do, but the truth is, it starts with awareness. Ana learned to identify the patterns that kept her trapped, the negative self-talk, the spiraling thoughts, the avoidance of anything that might require energy or courage. She learned to recognize the triggers that intensified her depression: late nights scrolling through social media, isolation, self-criticism, and unresolved conflicts. Awareness doesn't instantly make the pain disappear, but it gives you control. It allows you to see the storm before it overwhelms you, and that insight is the first building block of recovery. One of the first practical strategies Dr. Castellanos introduced was the idea of micro-steps. Depression tells you that everything is too hard, that nothing is worth doing, and that any effort is futile. Ana's first goal was as simple as setting a fixed wake-up time. She started small, making her bed, drinking a glass of water, stepping outside for 5 minutes. It seems trivial, almost laughably small, but these tiny victories were proof that she still had agency, that she could take action, and that the world didn't have to feel like it was crushing her completely. Next came the inner work. Ana had a relentless inner critic, the voice inside that never allowed her to feel proud or content. Dr. Castellanos taught her the power of self-compassion. Instead of berating herself for what she couldn't do, she learned to gently acknowledge her feelings and say, "It's okay. I'm allowed to feel this way. This doesn't define me." At first, it felt awkward. How do you tell yourself that you're okay when your mind insists you're failing? But slowly, this practice created cracks in the wall depression had built around her mind. A crucial aspect of Ana's journey was learning to reach out for support. Many people struggling with depression isolate themselves, believing they are alone or unworthy of help. Ana had done the same. Dr. Castellanos encouraged her to start connecting with trusted friends and family. Not through grand gestures or long conversations, but small intentional acts: sending a text, sharing a thought, asking for company for a short walk. Each connection reminded her that she wasn't invisible, that people cared, and that vulnerability didn't have to be dangerous. It could be healing. Physical health became another pillar of recovery. Depression often saps energy, leaving people feeling lethargic and disconnected from their bodies. Ana started a modest routine: gentle stretching, short walks, and eventually light cardio. Nutrition was addressed too, not as a strict diet, but as a way to nourish her body, which in turn nourished her mind. She began noticing subtle changes: more energy, clearer thinking, and a sense that she was reclaiming control over her body. Dr. Castellanos emphasized that caring for the body is caring for the mind. The two are deeply intertwined. Ana also learned to confront her negative thoughts directly. Each time the voice in her head said, "I can't," she practiced reframing it. "I'm struggling now, but I can take one step." Each repetition was a small act of defiance against the depressive patterns that had held her hostage for years. It wasn't instant. It wasn't easy. There were days when the old patterns would return, stronger than ever. But she kept practicing, and over time the voice grew quieter, replaced by a sense of agency she hadn't felt in years. Therapy sessions with Dr. Castellanos also included cognitive behavioral techniques that helped Anna analyze situations objectively. Instead of reacting to triggers with spiraling thoughts, she learned to pause, breathe, and respond deliberately. This gave her a sense of control, an understanding that while she couldn't always control what happened to her, she could control how she responded. That realization was liberating. It was the difference between being a passenger on a sinking ship and learning to navigate the waters yourself. One of the most transformative aspects of Anna's journey was the cultivation of purpose. Depression often strips life of meaning, leaving a hollow feeling that nothing matters. Anna explored small acts that gave her a sense of contribution, volunteering, creative projects, connecting with nature. Purpose doesn't have to be monumental. Even small engagements can ignite a sense of vitality and direction. She began to see that her life had value, that her presence mattered, and that she could make choices that aligned with her values. Mindfulness and meditation became integral. At first, Anna was skeptical. How could sitting quietly and breathing possibly help when her mind was a storm of despair? But through guided exercises, she discovered that mindfulness reduced her anxiety, improved sleep, and offered mental clarity. It wasn't about escaping reality. It was about facing it consciously, with gentleness and awareness. She began to notice patterns of thought, moments of tension, and opportunities for calm. This presence in the moment became a tool for recovery, a way to anchor herself when the waves of depression threatened to sweep her away. An essential lesson Anna learned is that recovery is not linear. There were setbacks, moments of despair, days when getting out of bed seemed impossible. But instead of seeing these as failures, Dr. Castellanos helped her reframe them as information, data about what her mind and body needed. Recovery is a process of trial, error, and adaptation. Each setback is an opportunity to understand, adjust, and continue moving forward. As time went on, Anna began noticing real change. Laughter returned, quiet at first, then more frequent. Interests she had abandoned sparked back to life. Energy levels improved, not dramatically overnight, but steadily. The cumulative effect of these small changes created momentum. The gray world began to regain color. This was not a dramatic, cinematic transformation. It was quiet, subtle, and profoundly meaningful. Anna also learned the importance of celebrating small victories. Often, those recovering from depression overlook these moments, thinking they're insignificant. But every tiny step, making a meal, calling a friend, going for a walk, is proof of progress. These victories accumulate, building confidence and resilience over time. Recovery is not defined by huge leaps, but by the consistency of small, intentional steps. Throughout her journey, Anna came to understand that depression does not define you, and seeking help is not weakness, it's strength. Working with a professional like Dr. Castellanos was pivotal. It offered structure, guidance, and empathy. Sometimes recovery requires someone to walk beside you until you can walk confidently on your own. Anna's story demonstrates that reaching out is an act of courage and self-respect. An important aspect of Anna's progress was recognizing and challenging the cognitive distortions that had fueled her depression. She learned to identify all-or-nothing thinking, catastrophizing, and overgeneralization. By recognizing these patterns, she could question their validity and replace them with more balanced perspectives. This cognitive restructuring helped her regain clarity, reduce anxiety, and feel more empowered. Sleep hygiene was another key focus. Depression often disrupts sleep, which exacerbates mood issues. Anna implemented a simple, consistent routine, winding down at the same time each night, limiting screen time, and creating a calming environment. Even small improvements in sleep had a significant impact on her mental health. Energy returned, mood stabilized, and her ability to engage in daily activities improved. Social reconnection also became a cornerstone. Anna learned to invest in relationships gradually, starting with low-stakes interactions and building up to deeper connections. She discovered that vulnerability doesn't lead to rejection, it leads to intimacy and support. By strengthening these social bonds, she created a safety net, a network that reinforced her recovery and provided encouragement on difficult days. One of the most profound changes was Anna's newfound ability to set boundaries. Depression often makes people susceptible to emotional overload, taking on responsibilities or absorbing negativity from others. Under Dr. Castellanos' guidance, Anna learned to recognize her limits and communicate them effectively. This not only reduced stress, but also reinforced self-worth and personal autonomy. Physical movement continued to play a role, evolving from gentle walks to more structured routines. Anna discovered the mood-enhancing effects of exercise firsthand. Each session released endorphins, increased energy, and reinforced a sense of accomplishment. Movement became both a physical and psychological tool, a reminder that she was capable, resilient, and active in her recovery. Nutrition was integrated mindfully. Anna didn't follow a strict diet. Instead, she focused on nourishing meals that supported her mental and physical health. Omega-3 rich foods, fruits, vegetables, and adequate hydration became part of her routine. She noticed subtle but significant improvements in energy, focus, and emotional regulation. By the time Anna reached a stable point in her recovery, she had transformed. She had resilience, coping strategies, and a new perspective on life. Depression no longer dictated her choices. She could experience joy, connection, and purpose once again. She also recognized that life would continue to have challenges, but she now had the tools to navigate them effectively. So, what is the blueprint? First, name your feelings. Second, start with small, achievable goals. Third, practice self-compassion. Fourth, build a supportive network. Fifth, care for your body through movement and nutrition. Sixth, engage in therapy or professional guidance. Seventh, explore purpose and meaning. Eighth, practice mindfulness and presence. Ninth, understand that setbacks are part of recovery, not failures. 10th, celebrate every small victory. If you're watching this and feeling that familiar weight of depression, know this: recovery is possible. There is hope, there are strategies, and there are professionals ready to guide you. Like Anna, you can start today. Even a single small step, a phone call, a short walk, a moment of reflection, can begin your journey. Recovery is built one moment, one choice, one victory at a time. Remember, depression is not weakness, and seeking help is strength. Your story matters, your struggles do not define you, and your recovery is possible. Every act of self-compassion, every connection, every mindful moment is a building block of your blueprint. Take a deep breath. Give yourself permission to heal. Reflect on one small step you can take today toward recovery. It doesn't have to be monumental. Even the tiniest effort matters. That step is the beginning of your blueprint, your journey, and your comeback. Anna's story is proof that change is possible, that hope exists, and that life can regain its color, energy, and meaning. If you resonate with her story, I encourage you to take that first step today. Recovery isn't a destination. It's a journey, and it begins with you, right now. So, what's stopping you? Begin today, even with something small. Your mind, your body, and your heart will thank you. Each step forward, no matter how tiny, compounds. Momentum builds. Light returns. Life returns. Recovery is not only possible, it's waiting for you to take that first courageous step. And remember, as you move forward, setbacks will happen, but they don't define you. You are resilient. You are capable. And you have the power to reclaim your life. Follow the blueprint, trust the process, and allow yourself to heal. Your journey to recovery starts now, and it starts with you.